Hello and welcome to another episode on VoicePod Presents the great business story transforming India in association with NDTV Profit. Today I'm in Hyderabad to meet the CEO of Enmovil Solutions, a business intelligence platform that helps businesses streamline logistics, reduce costs, and also improve supply chain transparency and a lot more. So much, Mr. Ravi Balusu, for joining us today on NDTV Profit.
Thank you for
To begin with,
me.
I think the first thing which I would like to know, our viewers would like to know, if you can tell us what Enmovil Solutions does.
So, Enmovil is a supply chain technology solution provider for enterprises, distributors, retailers, all alike. We are focused on optimizing their supply chain operations, improve their efficiencies, reduce their operational cost, and we leverage the best and the most advanced technologies to enable these operations to happen for our customers.
Okay, so when we talk about value proposition, Ravi, if you can tell us, obviously in this industry, in fact every industry, there's cutthroat competition. And what I was reading, you all have a lot of global competitors. You all are the first company in India when it comes to working on this. Tell us about that.
So I'm so glad you highlighted that. Enmovil happens to be an India-grown and the biggest supply chain technology solution provider in India for various OEMs and distributors. We have essentially ingrained the concept of leveraging AI, ML to stay ahead of the competition to an extent that today when we go to our customer, the most common competitors that we bump into are pretty much global players, be it the SAPs, Oracles or other supply chain solution providers in the world. Those are the ones we are going head on against, and it actually bodes quite well for us given the fact that we are essentially the only Indian player right now being able to position ourselves.
How are you at Enmovil using machine learning and AI when it comes to work?
So machine learning and AI are not supplementary in nature, they are ingrained in our daily operations. So supply chain is an industry where things happen quite dynamically. The market, the industry moves quite dynamic in nature. To be able to adapt ourselves in this dynamic sector, you cannot be having a static model of operation. Static technology does not work. So we have inherently adopted AI to be able to learn our customers' operations, be able to evolve as per our customers' operations, be able to suggest the next steps that the customers should be able to take, and that's where we have fundamentally built our platforms on top of artificial intelligence and machine learning.
How do you foresee the evolution of business intelligence and analytics technology, just going forward?
So far as today's technologies are concerned, the typical way in which this business intelligence and analytics solutions are developed are the cases where I have a customer who has a specific need in terms of what he needs from an analytics or intelligence perspective, and I as a vendor would actually develop a solution that caters to his needs. Having said that, going forward, I believe that these needs are going to be dynamic in nature, like I was just referring to you earlier. They are going to evolve on a daily basis, and the best way and the most sensible way in which this technology is going to grow is where the platform itself learns how the operations are evolving, what are the key pain points that are being addressed or coming up, and it automatically comes up with insights on a day-to-day basis on what is affecting the business operations, what are the various factors that would impact the operations, and it would suggest to my customers on how they should act accordingly.
Okay, looking at exploration, what are you all looking at exploring when it comes to product lines or markets, anything coming up?
If I go back to thinking about how Enmovil has grown so far, right, we have been a customer-centric operation. So every time we have actually built, scaled or evolved a product, it's been based around the problem statements that my customer has been facing, the pain points we have seen him go through, and that's how we prioritized him. So our customer centricity has enabled us to develop solutions based on what their core problems are, and that's going to be how we will address new product lines and solutions going forward. We believe that addressing the problems that he has faced right now and anticipating the kind of problems he's going to face and build a solution around it is what is going to make us a successful solution provider going forward.
Well, it's good to hear that, customer-centric is very important, in fact, for any industry, anything. But just want to know the gaps, what led to the development of Enmovil solutions.
Sure. One of the major things that we observed, noticed 8 years ago when Enmovil started was that, this specific domain of supply chain was lagging behind in its technology adoption. In the age where you had autonomous cars coming on one side, you have legacy brick and mortar companies that have been relying mostly on emails, Excel sheets and such to run their operations. And it was very obvious that this was not going to be helping the customers optimize their operations, their supply chain operations, which are very, very cost sensitive. Today in the world, across the world, these operations are very cost sensitive, and you want to make sure that your bottom line is not getting impacted by this dynamic change in supply chain environment. And the lack of technology adoption was glaringly obvious, and that's where we figured was a great opportunity for Enmovil to actually get in, leverage technology and intelligence-based solutions to improve our customers' efficiency in their operations.
I want to ask you about innovation, sustainability, because that is also a very important aspect
Excellent
when
point.
it comes to any industry, and also collaboration. So these three things, tell us a little bit about that when it comes to the company.
Absolutely. Starting from the innovation part of it, like I mentioned earlier, the concept of customer centricity and leveraging the best technology has to offer. Today, it's all about AI, ML and whatnot. And making them our fundamental pillar in our development of our solutions and focusing on leveraging them to help resolve customer problems is how we have built our solutions. So innovation has been at the forefront of how we have developed various technologies. We have applied for patents in the domain. We have grown in always looking at what is the next best thing in technology that we can adopt and bring it, package it in a way that makes sense to the customer. And that's how we have been growing this, and that's how we have done. We have had innovation as a part of our day in and day out part of our operations. The next thing was about sustainability. One of the biggest aspects of supply chain that the whole world is talking about is ensuring that we are being carbon efficient, being able to grow our operations in a sustainable fashion. And some of our solutions which are to do with supply chain have not only been monitoring how our customers' operations have impacted sustainability, but also been giving insights, delivering solutions or planning solutions that ensure that my customers' operations have always been focused on reducing carbon emissions, being carbon friendly, and evolve into more sustainable operations. So we grow. This is a world where you grow not just by competition, but primarily through collaboration with a lot of ecosystem partners. And the first thing that we look at when we want to collaborate with partners is an alignment of core values. And when I am trying to look at my core values, which I keep at the risk of being very, very sounding as a broken record, our customer centricity, right? That while I do that, we also look at our potential partners who are focused on making sure that the customer success is at the core of their own operations.
Yeah.
And when your core values match with your partners, the rest of it automatically falls into place.
What, according to you, has been the biggest achievement of Enmovil and why?
Essentially, Enmovil has grown over the last 8 years from zero, very small room, no customer base, to today where we have a significant amount of customers all across India. And the biggest accomplishment, if I were to look back at it, is the fact that our majority of our growth has been through customer referrals. And it means so much when I am talking. Exactly. Yeah. My customer, in this world where my customers are going to be looking at me with a magnifying glass, right? When such a customer is able to refer me to another customer, it means so much more than just any kind of revenue or satisfaction. My measure of satisfaction with my customer relies on the fact that he's referred me to two more. And the fact that significant amount of our growth has come through customer referrals means so much, and that is what I would put ahead of everything else.
Great achievement. Looking at a lesson that you'll have learned over these last 8 years.
Perfect. So our lesson has been adaptability. I think if I were to put it in one word, I think it's adaptability. Us being able to adapt to various conditions. I mean, ours is one of those startups that has gone through, not just survived through, but thrived through the ages of COVID timeframes, right? And at that point, the sole mantra for us to grow beyond where we were originally looking at was adapting to the situation.
That's really well put. We're sitting, amongst youngsters. I mean, your team
Absolutely.
is full of, really, really young people, the youth, a message.
Great
I mean,
point to
yeah,
mention.
so I think that's something, would you like to say anything about them? Because working with a young team, when you look
Absolutely.
at,
And it's great. I mean, looking at my team, they are a whole lot of fresh blood that comes into the game, that brings a lot of energy and ideas into the game, and they are the ones that have actually been been the backbone for the company, been able to push us forward, saying that we are going to go past this. And yes, no company is going to thrive without the team. I mean, we are essentially, at the end of the day, it is the team that makes Enmovil. It's the team of this whole engineering team and the support teams that are out there that make Enmovil there. And yes, they are the ones that have actually kept us going.
Well, on that note, wishing you all the very best, and thank you so much, Ravi, for coming and speaking with us on NDTV Profit.
Thank you so much, and I thank NDTV for this opportunity.
Welcome back to VoiceWatch presents The Great Business Story Transforming India in association with NDTV Profit. If your business needs assistance with corporate strategies, mergers and acquisitions, or just debt restructuring, then we have got you covered. AU Corporate Advisory and Legal Services is your one-stop solution. With me, I have Mr. Akshat Khaitan, who is the founder of AUCL. Thank you so much, Mr. Akshat, for speaking to NDTV Profit.
Thank you.
Let me begin by asking you, what are the primary legal considerations that one should keep in mind while opening up a business?
The primary legal consideration for any individual to start a business is on what will be the nature of his business and what structure he is looking at. This depends upon various operational parameters, so as to in what sector, in what area, with what capacity and for what purpose he intends to operate. We have various forms of legal structure for setting up and operating businesses. It all depends upon what is the nature and what is the vision that you have in your business prospect. There are structures such as one-man company. There is a concept of limited liability partnership, and structures are now so flexible that it can be switched, it can be interplayed, and it can be accustomed, suiting the requirement of your business. Every individual should realize that he is for his business or the business is for him. Then the answer of which structure should choose will definitely be coming into his mind.
How do I ensure that my business is legally safe, as if we talk about the risks that are involved?
Every business has a principle of high risk, high return, high reward. Question should not be about how riskier the business is or how we can eliminate the risk, but how we can optimize our resources and how we can have a proper forecast to reduce the risk and to bridge the gap between risk and fulfilling and overcoming that risk.
There are businesses that involve risk, and now if I've run into some risk and there are debt settlement that I need to focus on, how can I negotiate with my creditors to restructure all the debt?
Any business, when it reaches a maturity stage and where there are certain changes in the demand and supply of that business, the businesses may undergo potential downfall and downturn. One of the key stakeholders in running this business is your lender, is your financer, is your banker, or is the person who has facilitated you with money. And there it is very important that in scenarios where you are in trouble, where you face challenges, they also extend support to you. Now, in order to obtain that support, the first important criteria is your intention. The intention should be clear that you are not a willful or fraudulent defaulter, but you are a victim of circumstances yourself and you have appropriate bona fide to deal with such problem. Second, there are policies, master circulars and guidelines of the monitoring and supervising body like the Reserve Bank of India, which provides help, assistance and framework for you to interact and have proper negotiation with your lenders in such adversarial situations.
Should I go for filing for bankruptcy or restructuring my debt? What are the potential risks involving in filing for bankruptcy?
Two of these jargons, that is filing for insolvency and bankruptcy and for restructuring, are two ends of a problem. After identification of your problem, and if you feel, and I firmly believe, that if a problem is a man-made problem, it will definitely have a solution. If you feel that there are chances that your business can again return into a vibrant constructive force capable of elevating its all stakeholders into regrowth and progress and prosperity, you should opt for refacement, restructuring and restabilization. But if you feel that you are not able to run your business, you are not able to satisfy the stakeholders, and in long run the business will be killed and the sword of legal prosecution will always be hanging on your head, then you should adopt for filing of insolvency. The problem here is that we have perceived filing of insolvency and bankruptcy with a very narrow prism. The whole purpose of introducing this insolvency and bankruptcy in the country was not to kill businesses, but to revamp businesses with two goals. One is maximization of asset value of the corporate debtor, which is the company, and second is enhancing the time value of money.
But you saying and you're backing that one should file for insolvency, but there are risks involved with it. And how will my creditors, react to what potential impact will that create on my business if I go and file for insolvency?
There is risk. If you have entered into any undervalued, preferential, fraudulent or transactions which are extortionate in nature, then the resolution professional who is appointed by the court or the tribunal will definitely introspect into such transactions and make you accountable. So you cannot run away with your liability if you have done anything fraud or if you have done with the purpose to defraud anyone. But if you are genuine, you can definitely resolve your debt implementing the CIRP process, which is the corporate insolvency resolution process, and under that also, if you are an MSME company, then the regulations are so good that you can yourself bid for your company. Today we have the alternative of pre-packed insolvency also.
How can I ensure that whatever I'm doing and the way I'm doing the debt restructuring, it is legally binding?
Every lender who is a public finance institute in this country is governed, supervised and managed by the Reserve Bank of India. The Reserve Bank of India for individuals and for corporates, for MSMEs, SMEs and large corporates have laid down a guideline which, if the criteria and parameters are fulfilled, then your lender will reface and restructure your account in case it is NPA or in case it is undergoing incipient sickness. Directly, indirectly, physically, written or verbal, every entrepreneur enters into a contract every minute, and these contracts play an important role in shaping the paradigm of your business. So having the right kind of exit mechanism, having clarity in timeline, having clarity in enforcement, having clarity in delegation of duty and responsibilities, having clarity in the object of the contract and the definitive purpose of the contract is all very important. Today, if you see, the largest litigant in this country is the Union of India. And that litigant is a litigant because we often find that there have been gaps and lapses in implementation, execution when there is a default in the contract.
Mr. Akshat, it is a time of cutting-edge competition and AUCL is your brainchild. How does it stand different from others?
AU Corporate Advisory and Legal Services is a boutique firm having two divisions. One is on the legal advisory, where litigation and non-litigation aspect of any transaction is being dealt with, and second is the corporate advisory segment. At AUCL, our goal is threefold: total dispute resolution, total turnaround of a stressed asset, and maximizing the asset value for all interested parties in achieving the above two. So AUCL, in this era of competition, where there is cutthroat competition in this segment of legal and corporate advisory, is standing firm with the principles of never compromise, never look back, and never adopt to any shortcut, and is advising the same to its clients, where they are, by grace of God and good efforts of our team, getting good success.
Right. Mr. Akshat, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV Profit.
Thank you. It was a great pleasure speaking to you. And once again, I thank to all your viewers.